Mukhan karoti vachalam pungam lankayate jakravatam vande Shri Gurum Dinadaram Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Kapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Vedati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpataruyascha Kapasindhivedi Krishna Gaurange Radhe Vrindavan Shri Vishwam Shri Pranamani. Oh, there's our Bengali guy. You ever notice, if you listen to the recording of Srila Prabhupada's introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, he chants Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavan Shri Rekabanu Sute Pranamani.
Yeah, it's Bengali.
It's a Bengali variant.
Yeah, they don't, when it comes KS, they go KH instead.
But it's not K, it's Vrishabhanu.
Oh, Vrishabhanu, what?
Vrishabhanu Sute.
So
It chants Rikabhanu Sute.
That's interesting.
Oh, okay, I'm going to start with this one. I was going to start with, yesterday Nagapatni gave me this book and told me to choose a couple of pastimes to read. I picked one, Krishna proves Radharani's superior position. I hadn't read this, but I just liked the title. But we'll come back to that because I really like these other two as well. This is a book by Bhakti Purushottam Swami, disciple of Jagannatha Maharaj, I think, yeah. Called The Glories and Pastimes of Srimati Radharani. And it's a treasure. So I wanted to read chapter 40. This is one of my favorite pastimes. Radharani disguised as Subala. This is a famous pastime, and devotees have. There are two different dates, Gopashtami and not the Tritiya. Is it a Tritiya or the 13th day after? Is it?
I think so, Gopashtami.
Yeah. In Vrindavan. So this is a really cool pastime. Some temples, including Krishna Balaram Mandir, on Gopashtami, they dress Radharani as a cowherd boy, and this is why. And on that is the date when we get to see Radharani, so to speak. However, I've seen some of the devotees. It's like my friends Bhakti Rasa and Dulal Chandra have Gauradha Madhava in North Carolina at their home. And the Radharani is very beautiful, really beautiful, breathtaking. But dressed as Subal, literally, it's like a kick in the gut. It's so charming. It's just, somehow or other, Bhakti Rasa nails it every year. So Subal is the younger brother of Chandravali. Interesting, Subal. He's also Krishna's most intimate friend. He's the leader of the Priyanarma Sakhas, who among Krishna's cowherd boyfriends are the group that has some appreciation for his romantic dealings with Radharani and the gopis. And Subal, interesting, although he is the younger brother of Chandravali, he looks just like Radharani. He and Radharani look alike. So that's some background for this. One day in Kokilavan, which is situated in the north of the village of Yavat, Krishna called Radharani's name by playing on his flute. The sound had a special quality that no one except Radharani could hear. When Radharani heard Krishna calling her thus, immediately she became very enthusiastic to go to Kokilavan to meet with Krishna. Unfortunately, her mother-in-law, Jatila, was sitting at the door of the house. Radharani could not leave the house unless she felt deprived of Krishna's association. Krishna was waiting along with Subala at a kunja in Kokila. He was extremely eager to see Radharani, and from time to time he would leave the kunja and look in all directions to see if Radharani was approaching. Returning to the kunja, he would wait for some time, and then again he would leave the kunja and look for Radha. So much time passed, and still Radha did not arrive. When Krishna saw there was no hope for Radharani to come to him, he became very impatient and loudly said, "Radhe! Radhe!" and fainted to the ground. Subal held Krishna on his lap, wiping the tears from Krishna's eyes, and tried to pacify him. Subal said, "My dear friend, my heart is breaking to see you in this condition. Please tell me, how can I help you? What should I do now?" Krishna embraced Subal and caught hold of his hand. He told Subal, "My dear friend Subal, if you have really understood my sorrowful situation, then you should go immediately to the house of Jatila and somehow or other bring Radharani here to meet me. I cannot survive without meeting with Radharani. I will wait here eagerly until you come back with Radharani." When Subal heard these words from his dear friend Krishna, he said to him, "As per your instruction, now I am going to Yavat. I will try my best to bring Radharani here to meet with you. But you must wait here with patience until I return. Please, do not faint again. Now, let me go." As Subala was preparing to move, Krishna embraced him strongly and said, "Dear Subala, please go. Bring my most dear Radharani as soon as possible and save my life." Subal hurried towards Yavat and the house of Jatila. When he arrived, he was loitering outside the house of Jatila, looking here and there. Seeing Subal, Jatila called to him, "Oh, Subal, why are you wandering around here today?" Subal offered his humble obeisances to Jatila and said, "My dear grandmother, I've lost one of my calves, and her mother is crying for her. I asked so many people if they had seen her, and one person told me that they had seen a calf wandering on this side of Vraja, near your house." Jatila felt very compassionate towards Subal, and prompted by Yogamaya, she said, "Oh, yes, it is so. But Subal, your face is so red from wandering in this heat. Please go into the cool house. There you will see the assistant of my daughter-in-law. She will give you water, and you please rest for a while. Then, after some time, you can go searching for your calf." Subal was very happy to hear this from Jatila, and immediately entered the house. He went straight to Sri Radha's rooms and found her sitting on the floor with her head in her hands crying. Lalita and the other Sakis were pacifying her. When Srimati Radharani saw him, she said, "Oh, Subal, from where have you come? Have you seen the Lord of my life?" Subal said, "Krishna and I have been waiting in Kokilavan for you. Since you did not arrive, my friend Krishna became very worried for you. In separation from you, he is crying while uttering Radhe, Radhe, and fainting again and again. Why did you not come to meet with Krishna? He has sent me here to bring you to him. He's waiting eagerly for you. Come." Radharani said, "Subal, just see how my mother-in-law Jatila is sitting there at the door with a stick in her hand. In this situation, how can I get out of the house and disobey my seniors? Although my mother-in-law is not able to see perfectly, and I could very easily escape her, still my sister-in-law, Kutila, is very tough with me. She's crooked by nature and always eagerly awaiting to find some fault with me." Radharani looked at Subala with tears in her eyes. "My Lord Krishna must be waiting in Kokilavan and suffering in separation from me. I know it very well. But what can I do? I'm helpless. I cannot go out of my house to help my Lord, who is lying in a faint on the ground. You cannot understand how painful it is for me to hear that my Lord is suffering in this way. Please, go back to the forest immediately and satisfy him by explaining the reasons I've not been able to meet with him. Go quickly. Do not delay here for a moment. Subala replied, Radhe, if I go back to Krishna without taking you with me, then Krishna will only suffer more, and he'll leave his body in separation from you. That is what he told me when I left him in the forest. In order to extinguish the fire of separation that burns within both of you, I've made a plan. Please, listen carefully. Subala lowered his voice and spoke quietly to Srimati Radharani. I will dress you in my clothes. You'll go out of the house right in front of Jatila, and still she won't recognize you. Then your Sakhis will decorate you with your dress, and I will stay here in the house. Oh, I'm sorry. Then your Sakhis will decorate me with your dress, and I will stay here in the house. Radharani clapped her hands in delight and said, Subal, thank you so much for your nice idea. I'm very happy to hear this. Her brow wrinkled as she thought, and she added, there is a problem with this. I can wear your clothes, but my hair is so long and my breasts are raised high. How can I have this? Please give me some idea. If Jatila recognizes me when I pass by her, then I will be in great danger. She will never allow me out of the house again, and I will never be able to meet with my Krishna. Subala answered, Dear Radhika, please do not be worried about this. I've already thought of a solution to your two problems. Please listen carefully. First, your Sakhis will pile up your hair on top of your head and cover it with my turban. Second, when I was coming to your house, Jatila saw me and asked me why I have come here. I told her that I was looking for my calf that had wandered. That had wandered from the herd. So I will give you one small calf. You hold it to your chest, thus disguising yourself further. Do not be worried that your mother-in-law will recognize you. I will dress you so perfectly that no one will recognize you as Radha. They will think you're Subal. When Radharani heard this plan from Subal, she was in ecstasy. When the plan was finished, Lalita dressed Subal in the blue sari of Radharani and adorned his body with her ornaments. She put vermilion on his forehead, black kajal around his eyes, and alata on his feet. Behind Subal's head, she put some artificial hair. She dressed him. She dressed him in a blue blouse and stuffed it with cloth to create artificial breasts. She put bunches of bangles on both his arms. When the Sakhis saw Subal, whose features were identical to Srimati Radharani's, they all started to laugh and clap their hands in delight. Then Lalita took the cloth. For what service is Subal not qualified? He says, Sri Rupa Manjari's rhetorical question in Ujjvala Nilamani, describing Subal. He does such intimate service for Krishna. I mean, this is crazy, right? Sneaking into a girl's room, changing clothes with her. When the Sakhis saw Subal, whose features were identical to Srimati Radharani's, they all started to laugh and clap their hands in delight. Then Lalita took the cloth of Subal and dressed Radharani. Then Subal piled Radharani's hair on top of her head and covered it with his turban. Radhika wiped the sindoor from her forehead, the kajal from her eyes, and the alata from her feet. Because Subal was the brother of Chandravali, his appearance and color were just like Radharani's. Now Radha was looking just like Subal. He gave Radha one small calf to hold, covering her breasts. Then, remembering the lotus feet of Krishna, Srimati Radharani slowly walked out of the house through the main gate, right past Jatila. When Jatila saw Radharani, he thought, Subal is back, and called out to him, "Oh, Subal, did you drink water? Did you find your calf?" When Radharani heard this, she simply replied, and left the place. Then she proceeded toward Kokilavan in order to meet with Sri Krishna, the Lord of her life. In Kokilavan, Krishna was eagerly awaiting for Subal to return with Radharani, but suddenly Krishna saw Subal walking alone without Radharani. Krishna thought, "I sent Subal to bring my most dear Radharani with him, but he has returned unsuccessful. What has happened? Maybe her mother-in-law did not allow her to come out of the house. Maybe she's not able to come out due to some engagement or household activities. Maybe she has come across some other great obstacle." Thus, imagining different reasons for Radharani's non-appearance, Krishna became very worried. Thinking all these things, he started towards Subal, eager to understand why Srimati Radharani was not coming. Radharani, in the disguise of Subal, was looking at Krishna and floating in an ocean of ecstasy at the sight of him. But she did not reveal her own identity. Eager to see Krishna's own eagerness for her. As she came close to Krishna, he said, "Oh, Subal, why have you come alone? Where's my Radharani, who's more dear to me than my life? Where have you hidden her? Why have you given me more pain by not revealing where she is? What kind of enjoyment are you deriving giving me so much pain? If you've hidden her somewhere, then kindly bring her here and save my life." While Krishna was speaking in this way, Radharani came very close to him, and in the voice of Subal, she said to Krishna, "My friend, as you ordered, I went to Jatila's house on the pretext of searching for my lost calf. I saw Jatila. The old lady was sitting at the gate holding a stick in her hand. I went inside the house with her permission, and there I saw Radharani crying, her head hanging down in misery. She was crying in separation from you, unable to leave the house. All the Sakis, including Lalita, were counseling her. When Radharani saw me, she asked me where I had come from and whether I had seen you. I explained how you're suffering in separation from her. I told her that because she had not gone to the forest that day, you had sent me to take her with me. Then she replied, "My mother-in-law is sitting at the doorstep. I will not be able to go out of the house." Then I came back without any success to inform you of these things. When Krishna heard this hopeless news from Subal, he said, "Oh, Subal, you know all kinds of tricks. Whenever I send you to bring Radharani, you always manage to bring her to me. Never before have you failed. Why have you not succeeded this time? I cannot survive in this world without her. When I sent you to bring Radharani, I told you that if I leave my body from the pain of separation, then please give her my peacock feather flute and Gunjamala." Then Krishna started to cry loudly, uttering the name of Radharani, "O Radhe, O Radhe, O my most dear Radhe." When Radharani saw Krishna's desperation, she could not control herself any longer. She put the calf on the ground and removed the turban from her head. Immediately, her hair fell loose and hung down her back. When Krishna saw that Subal was actually his beloved Sri Radha, he embraced her with affection and took her inside the kunja. After their loving exchanges, Radharani left for her house. By that time, Subal, who was still in the dress of Radharani, had come out of the house along with the Sakis on the pretext of going to the Jamuna to fetch water. Srimati Radharani met her Sakis and Subal at the Jamuna and changed out of Subal's clothes and into her own. Subal then went back to Krishna in the forest, and Radharani went back to her house, holding the water pot in her arms, accompanied by her Sakis. The other one was Shamananda Pandit, but I'm way over time, and I don't have any place. Shri Radhe